My beloved child, the moment you hear this, something inside you will shift, because what I'm about to reveal was never meant to reach you. A lawyer, yes, someone who has seen documents, signatures, hidden agreements, and sealed files, just exposed the real reason your life has felt watched, tracked, monitored in ways you can't explain. And before you assume anything, understand this: none of this started today. It began the moment your presence, your energy, your decisions threatened to expose someone's carefully protected secret. Every strange coincidence you noticed, every sudden silence in people around you, every unexpected delay, every person acting different, all of it was the first sign that you were no longer moving in the dark. You were stepping into a truth someone has been afraid of for a long, long time. Now listen carefully, because the lawyer didn't just talk casually. He spoke like a man who'd seen something that chilled his heart, something he wished he could unsee. He said your name came up in a conversation that was never supposed to include you. A room where people whispered about you as if you were a threat, someone who might uncover what they buried years ago. The more he talked, the clearer it became: this wasn't accidental. You weren't being noticed, you were being monitored. Not because you're in danger, but because someone is terrified that the truth tied to your name is about to break free. Someone who thought you'd stay blind forever suddenly saw you waking up, and panic spread instantly. The lawyer said he saw the fear in their eyes. And that fear was all because of you. And my child, here comes the part that will shake you. According to him, there's a document, unsigned, unfiled, hidden deep. A document that mentions a situation connected to you, one that was supposed to stay buried. The reason you're being watched is because this hidden truth is rising to the surface on its own, with or without your permission. The energy around you has shifted so dramatically that people who once ignored you can't look away anymore. Every move you make, every step you take, every quiet change in your routine. They're all being observed because someone knows that you're close to discovering what they kept from you. And the lawyer said one more thing, something that will echo in your mind: once they realize the truth is waking up, they start watching the one who holds the key. My beloved child, that key is you. And now, nothing will ever be the same. My beloved child, something shifted the moment that lawyer finished speaking, and the shift wasn't small. It was explosive, the kind that sends shockwaves through every hidden corner where your name has been whispered. He said the people who once treated you like you didn't matter are suddenly scrambling, moving fast, making calls, deleting things, revising stories, hiding traces, because the truth they buried is no longer staying buried. The lawyer's voice shook when he explained this. The moment they realized you were starting to sense the pattern, they panicked. Not because you're weak, but because you're finally standing in the exact position they feared, where you can see through masks, read the lies behind smiles, and recognize the people who pretended to care while guarding something about you. And the lawyer said this part quietly. They're not watching you to protect themselves from harm, they're watching because they know you're about to connect dots they never expected you to notice. That's why everything around you suddenly feels tense, unnatural, heavy, why certain people act nervous, why their eyes shift when you speak, why they think you won't catch their sudden distance, their hesitation, their unnatural silence. You feel it because it's real. And the lawyer warned, when truth starts rising, the ones who hid it start shaking. My child, their shaking has already begun, and they're terrified of what you're about to uncover next. But here's where the energy becomes even louder, because the lawyer didn't just find documents, he found conversations. Conversations where someone tried to predict your reactions. Where they said, if they find out, everything falls apart. The lawyer said the fear wasn't about you exposing something, they were afraid the truth itself would expose them. That truth would collide with your intuition and unlock a realization you were never meant to have. He explained that the reason you've been watched is because someone, somewhere, is desperately hoping to control the narrative before you learn what was taken from you, hidden from you, or decided without your awareness. And he said something chilling: they always watched the one who didn't break but was supposed to. You weren't supposed to rise. You weren't supposed to remain strong. You weren't supposed to be this awake. Yet here you are, seeing through illusions they counted on you never questioning. And that is why the energy around you feels different, every strange synchronicity, every sudden shift, every unexpected intuition, it's your spirit detecting a truth that's getting louder by the hour. Their fear proves you're closer than ever to uncovering what they once swore you'd never know. You are the variable they failed to predict. And my beloved child. The lawyer's final words in that moment were the most powerful of all. He said the file, the whispers, the fear, the sudden watchfulness, they all point to one thing, a transformation you're unknowingly triggering. The truth they feared would destroy you is now the truth that's empowering you. But they can feel the moment approaching, the moment where you step into clarity so sharp it slices through every lie they wrapped around your name. He described the tension around you as a collision point, where the hidden and the revealed meet, and you become the force they can no longer control or silence. And he said something that will stay with you forever: when someone is being watched, it's because someone behind the scenes already knows their power before they do. That's why your life feels different. That's why your energy feels charged. That's why certain people can't relax when you're near. You are stepping into a truth that has been shadowed for far too long. And now, even the ones watching you can feel it. Your rise is no longer avoidable, no longer delayable, no longer containable. The truth is coming, and you're the one walking straight toward it with a strength they never expected you to have. My beloved child, the lawyer didn't just uncover documents or hidden conversations, he uncovered a pattern, a sequence of events so precise that it left him speechless. He said everything you've been feeling lately, the sudden tension in the air, the strange behavior of certain people, the way some individuals avoid your eyes or speak too carefully, none of it is random. It is the aftermath of a truth that has already begun to surface. He described it like a silent alarm that went off the moment your intuition woke up. And ever since that day, people connected to this truth have been reacting, shifting, scrambling, pretending. The lawyer said, when someone realizes they can't stop the truth, they try to stop the person who can reveal it. And that's why you've been watched, not out of danger, but out of fear. Fear that you will realize your own value, your own strength, your own role in a story they tried to rewrite without including you. My child, the moment you stopped accepting their version of reality, you became a threat to their carefully crafted illusion. But what the lawyer found next changes everything. He said there is a name, a person tied to this whole situation, someone who pretended to be distant, someone who acted unbothered, someone who kept their emotions hidden behind a cold mask. Yet behind closed doors, behind the curtain, behind every lie they told themselves, they panicked the most. The lawyer explained that this person had more to lose than anyone else. Because if the truth about you came out, every choice they made, every step they took, every manipulative move they used to keep control would collapse. He said this person has been watching not out of power, but out of desperation. Desperation to see whether you've already figured out what they tried to keep from you. Desperation to know whether you'll walk away or confront the truth. Desperation to hide the fear that you, without even trying, have become the biggest turning point in their life. And as the lawyer spoke, he said your name carries a weight that shakes people who once acted like you were irrelevant. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. And my beloved child, the lawyer ended with a revelation even heavier than everything before. He said the reason you're being watched isn't because you're weak, powerless, or unaware, it's because you're the one who holds the missing piece. The one whose silence scares them. The one whose intuition exposes them. The one whose presence forces the truth to rise. He said, when the wrong people realize the right person is waking up, everything around them begins to fall apart. And that's exactly what's happening. The watching, the tension, the strange energy around you. It's all their fear leaking through the cracks. You are the one thing they can't control. You are the one thing they can't predict. You are the one thing they underestimated. And now the truth they hid is rising straight toward you, ready to reshape everything you once believed. My child, the lawyer said this, when the truth chooses someone, nothing can stop it from reaching them. And the truth has chosen you. My beloved child. The lawyer's voice carried a weight that didn't feel like information anymore, it felt like a warning wrapped in truth. He said the situation around you has entered a new stage, a stage where the people who once watched you from the shadows are now watching you with urgency. Not because of what you're doing, but because of what they fear you're about to do. He explained that when someone starts questioning patterns, when someone stops accepting surface-level behavior, when someone's intuition grows sharper than their silence, people who hid the truth start losing their balance. That's exactly what's happening right now. The lawyer revealed that multiple individuals connected to this situation have suddenly changed their tone, their behavior, their routine. They're acting like they're calm, but their decisions are rushed. They're pretending everything is normal, but their actions betray panic. And the lawyer said this line with absolute certainty, they don't watch someone unless that someone has the power to break the story they tried to control. But here's the part that creates the most shock. The lawyer discovered that someone close to the core of this situation tried to mislead others about you. They painted you as unpredictable, emotional, confused. Hoping that if people believed their version of you, the truth tied to your name would lose strength. But what they didn't predict is that your energy doesn't weaken when someone lies about you, it becomes more focused. The lawyer said the moment this person tried to disguise your truth, something unusual happened. Instead of believing their narrative, people started noticing gaps, inconsistencies, contradictions. Their story didn't add up. Their attitude toward you didn't match their fear. Their words about you didn't match the reality of who you are. And the lawyer said those contradictions are exactly why certain people began observing you more closely, they were trying to understand what this person was hiding. And in doing so, they accidentally exposed something much bigger, the truth was never the threat, you becoming aware of it was. And my beloved child, the lawyer ended with a revelation that breaks the entire illusion they built. He said there's an unspoken rule among those who hide things: watch the one who carries the light, because the light always reveals what the darkness tried to bury. And right now, that light is you. Every shift happening around you, every strange feeling, every sudden intuition, every unexpected sign, is the truth rising faster than they can suppress it. The lawyer said your awakening is no longer something they can ignore. That's why eyes are on you. That's why energies around you feel intense. That's why people connected to this situation are suddenly restless. You are walking toward a truth that was never meant to stay hidden forever, a truth that bends everything around it the moment it arises. And the lawyer said one final thing, spoken like a man who has seen this happen before: when someone like you steps into clarity, everything built on lies starts to crumble. My child, that crumbling has already begun, and now the truth is making its way to you, unstoppable, undeniable, and ready to rewrite everything they thought they could control. My beloved child, the lawyer's final discovery wasn't a document, a message, or a name, it was a timeline. A sequence of events that reveals exactly when the shift began, exactly who triggered it, and exactly why your life suddenly feels like every invisible eye has turned toward you. He said the moment you made a silent decision, yes, that moment when your heart finally refused to carry the weight of certain people, certain memories, certain illusions, that decision sent a ripple into places you'd never imagine. People who thought you would stay predictable realized instantly that you were no longer moving according to the script they wrote for you. And when someone breaks the script, the ones who depended on your silence start to panic. The lawyer emphasized that the watchful eyes around you aren't a coincidence, they're a reaction to your evolution. Your energy matured, sharpened, transformed, and the people who once relied on your softness suddenly saw a version of you that didn't bend anymore. He said they're not watching your actions, they're watching your awakening. They're afraid of the person you're becoming because that version of you is powerful enough to drag hidden truths into the light. And the lawyer said it was the moment you walked away silently, the moment you stopped explaining yourself, the moment you stopped giving access to people who only took, that moment is what triggered the entire chain of events unfolding now. But here's where the shock deepens. The lawyer said someone tried to cover their tracks before the truth reached you. They rushed to erase things, to hide their mismatched stories, to clean their digital footprints, to pretend they never whispered your name behind closed doors. They thought they could rewrite their involvement before you ever discovered the truth. But what they didn't know is that someone else was already documenting everything. Every inconsistency. Every contradiction. Every shift in their behavior. The lawyer found out that this other person, someone who once stayed silent, finally decided they'd had enough of watching lies shape your life. And this silent observer became the unexpected witness, collecting the truth piece by piece until the entire picture pointed back to you. The lawyer said this person didn't expose the truth out of revenge, they did it because they couldn't stand the injustice anymore. They couldn't watch people twist the narrative while you stayed unaware, unprotected, uninformed. And that's when the real panic began. Not because the truth was discovered, but because it was discovered by the wrong person. Someone who isn't loyal to the ones who hid it. Someone who believes you deserve to know what's been happening around you. That's why the monitoring has grown stronger. That's why certain people look tense. That's why some are suddenly polite, overly careful, strangely gentle, as if trying to manage a situation slipping out of their control. They're acting out of fear, not power. They're trying to read your silence, trying to figure out whether you know everything already or whether the truth is still on its way to you. And the lawyer said they're terrified because they can't tell which one it is. And my beloved child, the lawyer's closing words weren't just a revelation, they were a prophecy. He said the truth surrounding you is no longer something anyone can contain. It has already begun to unfold in ways they never anticipated. He described it as a wave that's been building quietly for years, gathering strength each time someone underestimated you, each time someone hid something from you, each time someone tried to control the narrative around your name. And now that wave is rising high enough to break. The lawyer said you're standing at the center of a storm that was never meant for you, yet somehow you became the one person capable of ending it. Everything you felt. The sudden tension, the subtle movements around you, the strange shifts in people's behavior, is the world reacting to a truth that refuses to stay silent anymore. He said, they watch the one who becomes the turning point. And my child, that turning point is you. Not because you searched for the truth, but because the truth found you. Because your presence, your resilience, your awakening made you the only person strong enough to handle what's coming next. And whether you realize it or not, the lawyer said the truth is already walking toward you. Not slowly. Not quietly. But with the force of something that was meant to reach you all along. And once it arrives, every lie around you will collapse, every false story will crumble, and every person who watched you from the shadows will finally face the light they've been avoiding. My beloved child. The lawyer said there is a moment in every unfolding truth where the hidden world begins to shake, and for you, that moment has already begun. He explained that the people who once believed they had full control over your narrative are now standing in a place of uncertainty so deep that they're second-guessing every move they ever made. He said their fear isn't loud, isn't dramatic, it's quiet, calculated, and desperate. They watch you not because they understand you, but because they no longer do. You've changed in ways they never predicted. Your silence has become sharper than your words. Your presence has become heavier than your questions. Your intuition has become more dangerous to them than any confrontation. And the lawyer said something that reveals everything. When someone finally sees themselves clearly, the people who lied to them lose their power instantly. That's why the atmosphere around you feels different. That's why you can sense tension that wasn't there before. That's why you feel eyes on you even when no one speaks. Your clarity is the storm they never prepared for, and the truth is trembling its way toward you with the weight of everything they tried to bury. But the deepest revelation the lawyer shared was this: there is one individual, someone you once trusted, someone who acted distant, someone who left without answers, who holds a bigger piece of this truth than anyone else. The lawyer said this person has been avoiding the truth not because they don't know it, but because they're terrified of how you'll react when everything comes out. He described them as someone living in two worlds. The world where they pretend nothing happened, and the world where they're silently panicking because everything is converging toward you. The lawyer said this person has been watching your growth with a mix of regret and fear. Regret because they underestimated your resilience. Fear because they know that once the truth reaches you, the version of themselves they hid behind will no longer survive. The lawyer even said this person has tried to distance themselves, not to escape responsibility, but because your strength intimidates them in ways they don't know how to handle. Your rise, your silence, your inner power, it's forcing them to confront choices they hoped time would erase. And now they're realizing time didn't erase anything. It only delayed the moment you would finally see the truth clearly, and that moment is almost here. And my beloved child. The lawyer finished with a truth that carries more power than anything else he discovered. He said the reason you're being watched is because you are reaching a level of awareness that threatens everything built on shadows. He said the tension you feel is the universe rearranging itself around a truth that can't be hidden anymore. People are shifting, retreating, observing, recalculating, all because they sense a force rising within you that they never prepared for. He said your intuition has become so strong that you no longer need to search for answers, the answers are being drawn to you. The truth is gravitating toward you like metal pulled to a magnet, because you are the one person capable of carrying it without collapsing. He said, every story built on lies eventually collapses, but when the right person awakens, the collapse becomes a revelation, not a destruction. And that is exactly where you stand now. The watching, the whispers, the anxiety in the air, none of it is meant to scare you. It is proof of your power, proof that the truth is on its final approach, and proof that the people who once underestimated you are finally realizing the depth of who you truly are. My child, the truth is almost at your door, and when it arrives, everything hidden will fall apart in front of the one person it was always meant to reach, you. My beloved child. The lawyer said the most powerful truths don't reveal themselves with noise, they arrive quietly, like a shadow slipping under a locked door. And that's exactly what's happening around you right now. He explained that the energy surrounding your life has become so charged, so intense, so aligned with revelation, that even people who tried to distance themselves from the situation can feel the shift. They're becoming uneasy, restless, uncertain. Because every step you take is bringing you closer to the truth they hoped you would never approach. The lawyer said it perfectly, they're not scared of what you know, they're scared of what you're about to know. And that fear is spreading like wildfire. It's why certain people suddenly avoid you. It's why some act overly kind. It's why some remain frozen, unsure how to talk to you anymore. Their reactions reveal more than their words ever could. They can sense the moment approaching. The moment when the truth they buried begins to crumble under the weight of your awakening. And the lawyer said that once this truth reaches you, everything they built on silence will collapse instantly. But what makes this stage even more shocking is the person at the center of this whole story, the same person the lawyer mentioned earlier, whose actions created the cracks that are finally starting to show. This person isn't watching you because they want control anymore. They're watching because they're afraid of losing something they can't get back. The lawyer said this individual is living with a truth they've carried for too long, a truth that has become heavier, sharper, and more dangerous now that your intuition is rising. He said this person knows you've changed. They can feel it. They can sense your distance, your clarity, your strength. And instead of facing everything head-on, they're trying to predict how you'll react when the truth finally touches your hands. But what they don't realize is that your reaction won't be the destruction they fear. Your reaction will be liberation, your liberation, not theirs. And that scares them more than anything else. Because once you see the full picture, once you understand how deep their choices went, you will never look at them the same way again. The lawyer said this person knows that the truth will not only free you, it will expose their hidden guilt in ways they can no longer escape. And my beloved child, the lawyer concluded with words that felt like destiny rather than a message. He said the watching, the tension, the energy, the sudden shifts, it's all leading to one inevitable moment, the moment the truth finally arrives in your life. He described it as a force that has been circling you for years, waiting for the exact version of you that exists right now. Not the old you who doubted yourself. Not the softer you who ignored your intuition. Not the wounded you who questioned your worth. The truth waited for this version, this stronger, sharper, unshakable version who can finally see without being blinded, who can finally understand without being overwhelmed. He said, the truth chooses its moment, and the moment it chooses is always when the chosen one is ready. And my child, you are ready now. That's why you're being watched. That's why everyone connected to this truth is tense. That's why the energy around you feels like something big is about to break. Because it is. The truth is no longer approaching, it's circling closer, tightening, preparing to reveal everything they tried to hide. And when it finally reaches you, every lie will collapse, every mask will fall, and every person who watched you silently will realize one thing: you were never the one being controlled, you were the one being prepared.